guys, it's Grace from Grace Gets Gastric, and I am here today to talk about, I guess, my weight/weight loss history. I'm doing this as part of the weight loss journey tag that's been going around. I was tagged by the lovely Ruthie from Mystery Guest 1948. I'll link her in the cards above and in the description box below. If you're not watching her, you definitely should. She's awesome. But yeah, she tagged me to answer some of these questions. I'll also put the questions in the box below in case you want to follow along. But I'll go ahead and get started. So the first question is, when did I start gaining weight? I have been overweight my entire life, and what Clusie, if you guys watch Clusie, is like refers to as old fat. So I've always been fat. I'm sure, you know, I was a big baby. I was like 9 pounds. And looking at photos of myself when I was really young, like 4, I looked like a normal 4-year-old, I think. Maybe a slightly big 4-year-old, but not huge. But I remember by the time I went to school, I felt like I was bigger than the other kids. And, you know, it probably wasn't significantly big, but that quickly became the case. So, yeah, I've always been overweight. The second question is, are you an emotional eater? So I would definitely say that I am an emotional eater. When I'm stressed, when I'm angry, when I'm upset, when I'm sad, I definitely find comfort within food and eating. That is one of the big things that I have been trying to work on through this, you know, with having the VSG. I knew that the emotional component isn't going to go away. And it is still, sometimes I just want to eat. Let's see, 3. How long have you been dieting? So the first diet I remember going on was when I was in 6th grade. I went on the Atkins diet with my sister and my stepmom. I remember very vividly being in 6th grade and eating for lunch like one of those tuna packets, you know, like the Starkist tuna packets with like a couple of Melba toast, like the little Melba toast crackers. And just like, I was miserable. And I remember this one girl who was a grade below me who had no filter. I grew up with her, but she was just like, how come you're so much bigger than me when you only eat that kind of stuff? And I was like, that's the fucking question, isn't it? And so, yeah, I really remember that. I did lose weight, but you know, it was just unsustainable. I was in 6th grade. I was a growing kid. I mean, there was a lot of not great stuff that happened with our, just like my parents in their attempt to get us to lose weight, that definitely set me back, I'd say, emotionally and weight-wise. But anyways, so yeah, my first diet was when I was in 6th grade. Have tried things ever since. I honestly, I feel like that was such an intense and not good experience that it sort of put me off diets for most of the rest of my life. I have tried diets on occasion, but I think in losing weight and immediately gaining it back when I stopped doing it, I think I learned really quickly that like dieting in a way that is not sustainable for me long term just won't work. And so I didn't do a lot of those like crash fad diets because I learned at a very young age that that kind of thing is not sustainable for me, and then I'm just going to gain all the weight back. So yeah. Number 4 is, are you following a specific diet now? Not in the sense where like I'm following like Weight Watchers or Atkins or something specific. I do have and I hate the word diet. I like to think of it as just my eating plan, but my way of eating. This is like, you know, that's what I'm trying to focus on as a way of eating that I feel is sustainable for me long term. I do have you know, it's sort of like a very modified if it fits my macros kind of thing. So I have specific macros that I try to hit. Right now that's less than 1,000 calories a day, more than 90 grams of protein a day, less than 50 net carbs, and I'm not too fussed about fat. I think it's like 40 something. But that is my diet plan. Question number 5 is, have you cut any foods completely? Not really. Like, there are a number of foods that I have not yet eaten and don't necessarily plan to introduce for a while. But there's no foods that like haven't sat well with me. And I am, again, with my experience with that Atkins diet, I know that I don't do well with completely eliminating things. At least so far, I don't. I know, you know, maybe that will change in the future, but like that kind of uber restriction causes me to binge and causes me to fail. So I don't really have any specific foods or food groups that I don't allow myself to eat. With that being said, I do have my specific macros that I try to follow, and so a lot of foods in there are out. You know, I don't eat much, if any, sugar. I really try to limit my sugar intake, particularly added sugars. I really try to stay away from any kind of highly super carby food, particularly processed carbs, things generally speaking like pastries and cookies and stuff. And I do have those on occasion, usually unplanned. I haven't had pasta yet. I don't plan to introduce that, mostly because it's a food that will take up space and doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. And I've never considered pasta a trigger food, but it is a food that historically I would have to eat a lot of to be full and like could not portion accurately. So I don't know that will still be an issue given that I cannot eat very much, particularly right now. And if someone had a pasta dish, I'd probably, and it looked really good, I'd probably have a bite, but it's not something that like I'm making for myself. Same thing with like rice. Have you had success losing weight in the past? Honestly, not really. As I mentioned, I did the Atkins diet when I was in 6th grade. I did lose a good amount of weight. I want to say maybe like 50 pounds-ish. I mean, it's so hard for me to really remember, but I do remember that I lost like a good amount of weight, and could see it and was feeling really, slim. I would say like my other attempts at dieting since then have not been super focused on weight. They've been more focused on like health, like the Whole30, or like I tried to do some clean eating and stuff. And I wasn't weighing or anything. It was really just like trying to eat better. So with the exception of the Atkins diet where I know I lost weight, I also did lose, but I did lose weight on my pre-op diet, the medically supervised weight loss diet that was required by my insurance. And that was a diet that I really liked. And I'll talk more about that just a second. I thought that there was, yeah. I'll talk more about that in a later question. Number 7. So do you follow a workout plan? Yes, I guess. So I go to a gym, and my gym membership includes a free personal training every 6 weeks. And so I meet with a personal trainer, the same one I've met with her since before my surgery. And every 6 weeks we meet again, and she gives me kind of like, we talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, how I'm doing, my goals, and then she kind of updates my plan as needed to hit specific target areas. So, yeah, I right now my plan is I do basically partially standing push-ups and then kind of like pull-ups. And I do weighted like step-ups and reverse lunges. And then I do like a weighted kettlebell carry and this other exercise that's basically meant to help work out my core, because I have some lower back issues and I don't like to do floor work at the gym. I just feel self-conscious about it. Because I don't like doing floor work and I have some lower back issues that make using some of the core machines hard to use. She kind of has to get creative on working out my core. But yeah, I do that, and then 2 to 3 times a week, and then I also run/jog/walk on the elliptical for about 35 minutes, also 3 times a week. 8. So what are some of your favorite diets? So I I don't have a favorite diet. Again, I mentioned I don't really like those kind of fad diets, which is not to say that I don't think that they can work for people and that people can't be successful on them. But I think that the majority of people struggle with them because they are just not sustainable for them. And so, and that has certainly been my experience. So I don't really like diets, generally speaking. What I prefer, which, so I guess kind of a type of diet is sort of like the if it fits your macros type of thing. So where you have specific nutritional macronutrient goals, calorie goal, fat, protein, carb, whatever ratio you're trying to shoot for, and then you essentially eat whatever you want as long as it fits within those macros. For me, that works so much better than anything else. There's so much more flexibility. I don't feel deprived if I want to have you know, like a piece of chocolate cake or whatever. I mean, it's gonna have to be a small piece because I can't even eat that much, but like I can plan my day around that, and I just like that flexibility a lot. That is essentially kind of what my pre-op medically supervised weight loss diet was. The requirements for that were only to get over 150 grams of protein a day and less than 135 carbs a day, which is considered low carb for the standard American diet. Total sidebar, but it really bothers me when people who are used to doing super low carb with like keto or low carb because we've got weight loss surgery and don't eat very much, act like people who talk about their low carb diets that are beneath 135 calories are like not actually low carb. I guess they are. Those are low carb diets for the standard American diet, and you have to take into account that keto is a different story, and especially like most of us are not eating 135 carbs because we don't eat enough calories to account for carbs and the amount of protein we have to get in. So sometimes I just think that like our perspectives being in the weight loss surgery community are a little bit skewed as to the outside world. Anyways, total tangent. I found 150 grams of protein, 135 or less of carbs to work really well for me. They didn't care how much fat I ate. I was very satiated. I had high calories, but it was below my maintenance, and I did lose 35 pounds over the course of that 6 months. So, number 9, how much weight do you want to lose? I have my weight loss goals. I'll link that above. That kind of talks more about this. My low-key goal is to get to 164 pounds, which is the normal weight, the weight that I would have to be for my height to be at a normal BMI. I've mentioned also before, I'm not super wed to that because I do want to put on some muscle, and the BMI doesn't take into account muscle when you are doing that. So I'm not 100% like wed to 164 pounds, but that's sort of generally my goal. So that is, for me, I'm at like 240 something right now, 240. So it's about 70, oh God, 78 pounds away, 70 something. I think it's like 78 pounds away. I want to lose another 78 pounds, basically. From my, I should have like calculated this before I made this video. From my starting weight, which was 319 pounds, I have no idea, but my high weight was 354, and I want to get to 164, so that would be a loss of 190 pounds. Jesus. Oh my God. I mean, I would lose more than I want to weigh from my highest weight, which, okay, we're not going to think about that right now. Number 10, do you feel like you were addicted to food? Yeah, I do. I feel like I probably still am addicted to food. I've talked about this kind of, not in so many words, but in previous videos, where sometimes I just want to eat, you know, and it's not like to fill a void deep inside. It's not because for an emotional reason. I just like food and I want to eat, and there's kind of an addictive quality there. You know, like there are times where it's just like I make decisions that I almost feel like I can't control, and you know, they're just like, there's just no way to talk myself out of it. I don't know. It's complicated. I'm in therapy working on it. like everybody who has weight loss surgery will say, they do surgery on your stomach, not your brain. There's so much mental things to work through. I definitely think that I was and still am addicted to food. I think that's going to be a lifelong struggle for me, which kind of sucks, but I've made the decision to get healthier and focus on my health, and so dealing with that struggle is something I've committed myself to doing. And then the final question, number 11, is, are you comfortable in your body now? Well, that's not a loaded question, is it? Mostly yes. I would say yes and no, mostly yes. I feel more comfortable in my body now than I ever have before. I feel, you know, more like myself. I sort of feel like this is, you know, in my mind's eye, this is how I've always looked. Like I'm still bigger, but just a little bit like slimmed down. And I think, you know, it's almost weird looking back at old photos and being like, I saw this kind of, you know, like I just thought I saw that. But I would also, I mean, and I would say like, you know, at my heavier weights, I was never happy with my body. Like I didn't hate myself or anything like that, but like I was very aware I was fat and I didn't like the way I looked body wise. But I also just didn't think about it a lot because I didn't like it, and so I didn't want to think about it. So I just didn't think about it very much. And now that I'm on this, you know, we're doing this weight loss journey, so much of my life is revolving around losing weight and tracking things and looking and seeing and measuring. And so I'm just more aware than I ever have been of like all the little things that I don't like still. You know, and it's honestly, those things will be fixed or at least improved by losing a lot more weight. I still have nearly 80 pounds left to lose, and plastic surgery, which I'll definitely be needing. So I know, you know, like there are things I can do to get there. I'm just not quite where I want to be yet. All right, God, I was really, you'll notice that I was talking really fast because I was trying to get through these fast, but there's 11 questions. So yeah, not my fault. Thank you guys for watching. Oh, I need to tag people. So I'm gonna go ahead and tag On My Way Down VSG, Survive Sleeve Slay, and Smaller in NCRNY. And I'll tag you guys on Instagram as well when I post this video so that you know, because I didn't tag you guys in this until the very end. And maybe you'll have gotten bored and switched away and won't know I tagged you. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was interesting. You know, I like talking about this. You can learn a little bit more about me and my history. And let me know if you guys are doing these videos, because I have really been enjoying watching the few that I've seen so far. All right, have a beautiful, wonderful, fantastic day, you guys. Bye.